Mandatory inspection surveys are here. They are real. They are now. They are today. And more municipalities are getting on board, putting it online, so it's part of their online building permit process. Hey, what's up, all of my real estate peeps? This is Brian Lucier with another episode of the Why Not Real Estate Podcast Golden Nuggets, where we will take a tip, tactic, or technique and unpack it for you, our viewing audience, so you can use it in your tool belt to be a more successful entrepreneur, property owner, property manager, real estate investor, whatever it is you're related to in real estate. You can take these tips and tactics and use it to become more successful in what you're doing in real estate. Well, I've been gone for a little while. You can see I'm back here in the beautiful island of Aruba. We've got the Caribbean Ocean behind me here. And I took a few weeks off for the holidays. This is actually our third year doing the podcast. So I want to welcome you all back and thank you for your loyalty. Please like and subscribe. We would love that, and spread it out to your network. We have a lot of information out there, and it's free. We do on the yellow podcast, the tactics, and then on the blue podcasts, we interview everyone from beginners to billionaires. And we've already got 3 or 4 interviews lined up for 2026 that I really think you're going to enjoy. So, what's today's tip? What's our tactic today? Asbestos. Not a nice word, and a lot of you just cringed. So, back in 2008, during the market crash and the bubble, when that turned around, buyers were starting to walk into buildings. They would walk right past lead, walk right past mold. They'd forego building inspections just to get the deal because no one was buying property. And folks like me, we were just loading up our truck, buying all the properties we could. Guilty as charged. We would do a little bit over ask. We would ask for cash back at the table. And then we would forego any inspections. Even if we saw mold, even if we knew there was lead paint, we just wanted to get the property. Well, asbestos has changed the game. For several decades now, the EPA and the federal government has been trying to put restrictions on asbestos. Little known facts, in November 2025, we had Economic Envirotech come out, and they are asbestos as well as mold remediators, and they were telling us what's going on with asbestos in today's real estate market. And they gave me some facts that I was not aware of, and you may find shocking. I know I was shocked. Asbestos is currently in over 3,000 products currently on the market for sale today in the United States. They include brake shoes for automobiles, bowling balls, hair dryers, if you can believe it. When you're blowing a hair dryer, you're blowing past asbestos because it does well to preserve heat. Crock pots, oh yeah, give me a big bowl of that stew. And even baking powder. If you can believe it or not, there is asbestos in some grades of baking powder. It's also been in filters for cigarettes, which is a disaster. And currently right now in Massachusetts, there's an initiative right now. A lot of foundations have cement that have asbestos in it. So there's grants and other things going on. You can contact Mass Save to get more information about that. But I want to talk to you as a property owner, maybe a landlord or property manager, and let you know how this is going to impact you. In May 2025, the federal government and the EPA finally put a ban on asbestos products in the United States. We're shooting this in January 2026, So this isn't even 1 year old. Now, there's some ramifications that have happened here. You can't, well, actually, I'm in Aruba right now and getting some work done on my car. And I saw right on the estimate, asbestos-free brake pads. Here, this is the Netherlands, this is Holland. They don't play around. Asbestos is already illegal here. You can't have it in products. But in the US, popcorn ceilings, not the big popcorn, but the little popcorn, that's all asbestos. Roof shingles have asbestos. Why? Because they hold heat so well. Siding, everybody knows if you see that old siding on those triple deckers and houses in New England, that's all asbestos. So what does that mean now for you? A lot of people I know flip homes. They'll buy a home and they'll pull a building permit to do the renovations, plumbing and electrical, some cabinets, some drywall, some light renovations. That's all the normal stuff. Recently, just last week, I've got my CSL. One of my clients is doing a flip. We're helping him out, and I only do this for my clients. I'm pulling a building permit for him for the property he's going to renovate. And I knew about this from November. So I said to my client, Mr. Client, we need to get the mandatory asbestos survey. He said, Brian, what's that? I says, we have to do it now. There are case logs right now. There's a gentleman in Fitchburg who's suing the city of Fitchburg for $250,000 because when he pulled his permit, the building inspector never notified him that he needed to pull this permit. And then he did all this work. The EPA showed up on his job site, hit him with some serious fines for disrupting asbestos without having a professional come in and mediate the asbestos. This is serious stuff. So now, and I just pulled a permit last week for my client, as part of the online permitting process, there's 9 pages you have to go through. I think it's either page 7 or 8. They say, please upload the report of your mandatory asbestos survey. Huh? So now the building departments are catching on. They're adding it to their permitting process. But now a lot of people are blindsided and say, well, what's this? I've never heard of it before. Guilty as charged. Last September 2025, I renewed my CSL, and they sit you there and they tell you all the new things that are going on. Energy code took up like 3/4 of the class, but all the stuff that they unveiled to you that you now need to be responsible. Not one word about asbestos. Now it is mandatory. If you pull a permit, a building permit, you need to do an asbestos survey. It's like an inspection, an asbestos inspection, right? They're calling it by legal municipality an asbestos survey. Just think of it as an asbestos inspection. So you have to hire a licensed, trained asbestos remediator to come in and pull samples of the different flooring or wall or whatever it is, the siding. They need to do testing for the entire property before you start renovation. I'm telling my clients now, get this asbestos survey done before you even pull your permit. And I was right, because in the permitting process, when I opened up the permit online, bold, there it was. I had to upload the results of the asbestos survey. So if you don't do this, that's it. Your permitting process is dead in the water. It's on hold until you can upload that document. So what does that mean? Is it as scary as it all sounds? Probably not. Let me use the example of the flip that my client is doing. We know that the outside of the house is asbestos siding. It's that old wavy plank-looking asbestos tile that you see on all these old New England houses. Fine, we knew about that. But what we didn't know, what about the flooring on the inside? The adhesive for flooring contains asbestos. Maybe the tile itself, no. But if the adhesive contains asbestos and you're going to disrupt that at all, then the whole site needs to be remediated, that floor, by a licensed asbestos remediator. This can get scary, so don't just go in and start tearing up tiles if you haven't done this asbestos survey. So, my client, what happened? He got his survey, and it came back. There was caulking used on the siding. There was caulking in some of the windows, and we knew already the shingles on the outside of the house, the asbestos siding. Everything else came back negative. So he was good to go. So I took this report, uploaded it into the permit, put it out there, had a discussion with the building commissioner. I said, look, we know that the exterior of the house has asbestos. I know that from town to town, municipality to municipality, some want you to totally remove the asbestos. Some say it can just be covered up with vinyl siding. Luckily, in this instance, the building inspector said, no, you don't have to remove it, but the siding company has to put like that 1/4-inch insulation board over all of the asbestos, and when they install the vinyl siding, they have to use the extra long nails to hold everything into place. No remediation. We could leave it intact, in place, covered up. So, your typical siding estimate, instead of just the wrap, you add the 1/4-inch insulation, which is better because now your house will be insulated better and you can sell it as energy efficient. So that's great. His estimate came in at around $11,500, maybe $12,000 to do entire vinyl siding on this house. And that's it. Asbestos clear. He's clean and free to sell that as an asbestos-free property. If he hadn't done it and he got caught, they would have shut him down. And the worst thing you want to do is go toe-to-toe and try to test your knowledge with the building inspector. Not a good idea. So what does that mean? You have to get this test anyways. So say you're going to flip a house, or say you're going to do a renovation in an apartment, and you're going to disrupt at least 6 square feet of drywall. That's it. You've crossed the threshold and you need a permit. Here's what I'm suggesting. Get the asbestos survey done first. Actually, I've got another client who's just buying a house, and I've told him all this, and it's an empty house, but we'll go back to his story in a minute here. I told him about it. I don't think it's going to be too bad for him. It's all hardwood floors, vinyl siding already. The homeowner has upkept that property, but I told him about it. If he's going to pull any permits to get this done, and I gave him Economic Envirotech's number, he's going to reach out to their testing division, and he's going to get the test done. So what does it mean? What's the bottom line? Everybody's asking, everybody's looking at this video saying, Brian, great, we got to do it. What's it going to cost? Okay, here it is. Your asbestos survey is going to range, just a test, between $750, $800, all the way up to $1,500. So all you need to do when you're figuring out your renovation cost or your rehab cost, bake into your numbers another $1,500 for the asbestos survey. I would strongly suggest that you get this done before you close and sign the purchase and sale agreement. Just like in the old days when we used to go in diligently and do our lead inspection reports, or have a mold remediator, or a plumbing person, a plumber go in, or an electrician go in if there's knob and tube. The strategy would be, if the house is going to sell for $300,000 and you come up with estimates of $50,000 in repairs, you submit your estimates with all of that and say, Mr. Seller, I'd love to give you full value for your house. Here are the reports that say I need to spend $50,000 after I buy it. will you be willing to negotiate with me to either lower the price or give me cash back at the closing so I can do the work that needs to be done that we found on these reports? So there it is. You spend that $1,500 on your asbestos survey and you find out if you have a problem. Back to my client with the asbestos siding, we already have a strategy in place. If the building commissioner had said you need to remediate and remove all of those asbestos shingles, that's it. We would have said we're going to skip that part of the remodel. We're going to leave it intact, leave it alone, and we're not going to touch the siding. However, in this situation, best case scenario, he said all you need to do is have the siding company, when they pull their permit, put into the specs that they are going to wrap that asbestos with 1/4-inch insulation board. Done. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. It looks like, and we just saw the estimate come in, is $11,500, maybe $12,000 to wrap this house, but it's going to increase the value. And for marketing, we get to say it's an asbestos-free home. So there it is. It's mandatory. And I've been telling this to landlords. I've been telling this to realtors. I've been telling this to contractors. And they're saying, yeah, well, we're just not going to do that. So here's what's going on. Here's what I see happening. First, because people don't know about this, that's why I'm doing this video, to educate people and get the word out there. Because they don't know about it, they're not doing it. And they're already breaking the law. Now, if they know about it and they suspect that there may be asbestos, they may just skirt this whole issue, not get the test because they don't want to know, right? Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. I didn't know about it, it's not a problem. It doesn't work that way anymore. It's going to force a lot of people to break the law. Let that sink in. Now, these are good, ethical contractors that just may not know about this, doing what they normally do. The law only changed 9 months ago. Now you need it for the permit, and a lot of people are going to get caught by surprise when they pull their permit that it's out there and they need to do it. And the unintended consequences is you're going to have good, honest, ethical people breaking the law. And then on the other side of it, you're going to have people who want to get in and out, not spend a lot of money, try to do it on the fly, do it with duct tape, not my preferred repair tool. I want to do it right the first time and do it right the first way and treat my client's house as if it were my property for the liability that they're incurring from hiring me. The unintended consequence is a lot of people are going to end up skirting this issue and breaking the law because they don't want to deal with it, and they're going to kick the can down the road and just hope they don't get caught. Don't do that. For $700, $1,500, just bake it into your permit costs, bake it into your renovation costs, your rehab costs, your flip costs as one of the required inspections. And now, if you're buying properties and the market is shifting, I think interest rates have just dropped a little bit again, so that'll make more activity. Make it part of your buying process. Why? Because if you find out that there is, oh God, there was one house that he told us about, the entire house needed to be wrapped because it was a special side of siding that needed to be removed. It was very dangerous. That was upwards of $40,000 to $50,000 just for that. So I would strongly urge, spend the $700, $1,500, put it down as a cost. You're going to deduct it as a business expense anyways, and find out if there's more warts on that frog than you're willing to pay for. This might be a negotiating point, or it might be a point to walk away from the deal. I hope this made sense. I know I intentionally repeated myself several times to drill home the point that you need to do this. You should know it's between $800 and $1,500 for the test, and it's a negotiating point if you're going to buy the property or refinance the property. Not really refinance the property, but maybe you can go to your lender and get a construction loan if you know you need to spend 30, 40K. A negotiation tactic for buying the property and to keep you out of harm's way. You're going to need it just to pull the permit. And more municipalities are getting on board, putting it online, so it's part of their online building permit process. Mandatory inspection surveys are here. They are real. They are now. They are today. Be advised and take appropriate action. Economic Envirotech, I'll put their information down here on the screen. If you want to reach out to them, they are licensed and insured and capable of doing this job for you. And if you call them, tell them Brian from Bel Air sent you. They will treat you very well. They're very knowledgeable and they will explain this down to the detail. I'm just trying to give you a 30,000-foot overview. All right, my ladies and gents, peeps, rock stars, real estate professionals, entrepreneurs, landlords, all of you. Love you so much. Thank you for being here. I want to thank you again for attending another one of our episodes, the Why Not Real Estate Podcast Golden Nugget, where we give you a tip, tactic, or technique that you can use to be a more successful real estate investor. All of my peeps, this is Brian Lucier from the Why Not Real Estate Podcast signing off, and we'll see you on the next one. Happy New Year.